All right, so if you are publishing high content books on Amazon, you probably don't think that your book title is that important, but I can promise you the right title in front of the right person will make your book impossible not to buy. We can't forget the customers are shopping on Amazon. They are deciding which book they want to buy based on many different factors, the title being a very important one. And if your book title falls short, they're just going to buy another book and your book won't even get a second glance. So in today's video, we're going to be diving into my exact book title creation process with prompts and everything included. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to create compelling book titles that stop people who are scrolling and get them to click on your book. We have a lot of stuff to get into, so let's dive in. So if you are currently or looking to publish high content books on Amazon and you want thorough advice, actionable steps, and free resources, you're definitely in the right place. That's what we focus on here. So diving into the video itself, there's going to be 5 things we're going to be going through. The first one is what exactly is a high content book title and why is it important? The preparation before we actually create our book title. We're then going to go into creating our offer. And then from there, we can turn our offer into our actual book title. We're also going to go over a bunch of examples as well. All right, so just hopping in very quickly, if you do want to 100x your Amazon KDP knowledge, I recently released a new 15 Days to Publishing Mastery email series. You can sign up for it in the link in the description. It's one of the most thorough free resources I've ever released. It basically walks you through my entire book creation process from finding a topic to launching your book. And each day will be a new part of that process going in great detail exactly how I do it. So make sure to subscribe to that below. Let's continue with the video. So first things first, what is a book title and why is it important? So a book title is not just an explanation of your book, it's an offer. Just like a video title or a commercial, it's designed to grab somebody's attention and say, pick me, I can solve your problem, and I have the solution that you are seeking. And so that's probably why you clicked on this video, because of my thumbnail and my title. I positioned it in a way to speak to somebody who's looking to create book titles, made it desirable, and made it the no-brainer option compared to all the other videos that are there. Our book title is no different. Every other book on Amazon is doing the same thing. They are trying to get the customers to click on their book. And the difference is how well you frame your offer. So how well you frame your title as an offer is going to determine how many people click your book and if they even click your book over another one. And so it's not just explaining your topic, it's the positioning of your book that's going to determine if someone is going to click it. So we have to make them an offer that they simply can't refuse. And if you pair an offer that they can't refuse with a professional cover, a good book launch, a good amount of reviews, a strong product page, this is how you establish your book as something credible and one that ranks high and sells well. And so 2 books in the same topic with the same amount of reviews will sell totally differently based on this principle. And so when we're publishing high content books, the title is very important and can make or break your results. So the first step to actually creating a strong book title for high content books is the preparation. So if you just create a generic book, you're going to be grasping at straws trying to craft a winning title. You have to create an enticing book with a compelling structure, and then title creation becomes easy because you have the best offer there and you're going to teach them what they're looking to learn in the best way possible. And so we have to dive into topic research before we even create our book or our outline to get the most out of our title. Now, if you've already created your book, that's fine. We can work around that. But if you're still in the book creation process, I highly suggest you really dive into this section here because this is going to make the book title creation process very easy. And so when it comes to topic research, there is a few things that we have to dive into. The first one is defining our topic and our audience. Just clarify what your topic is, make sure it is specific to your search term, and make sure that we are targeting a reader and an outcome that they want. So find out who our audience is, what problem they're looking to solve, and make sure you're solving one problem for one person. From there, we want to study the competitors. So once we know who our audience is and what our book topic is, more importantly, we can then study the competitors. So what I'm going to do here is look at my competitors' books, their titles, their table of contents, their reviews. When reading their reviews, I'm going to note what works, what's missing, what people would have wanted, and any reoccurring chapter structures, because if you look at the best selling books in your topic, maybe the top 3 to 5, they're all going to have a similar structure and table of contents. And so what we want to do is create that baseline structure that we know our book needs to have, because this is what clearly people are buying and resonating with. And then from there, we just deliver it in a better way and find a better way to present their information. So we build a table of contents from our competitor patterns, the must-have sections, and then from there, we create our unique mechanism. So identify your differentiator. Maybe this is your framework, your time frame, your ease of delivery, your style of writing. How can we present and teach the same thing in a better way? And then offer the same solution, like I said, in a more digestible way. Because at the end of the day, people don't want more information. They want solutions. You probably don't want me to sit here and just list out a bunch of random information on book titles. You want me to walk you through my process step by step, which is exactly what we're doing. We have our 5 parts here to creating a book title. And you're much more likely to finish a video like this than one that's just an hour and a half long, rambling on about book titles. People buying books are the same way. Just think of yourself as a consumer. Put yourself in the shoes of customers and imagine yourself buying this topic for yourself. And ask yourself, how would you want it delivered and how would you want to learn this topic? Because most likely other people are going to be feeling that way as well. So once we have our baseline structure, we know our unique mechanism to teach this. We can then worry about the delivery of the information, making sure it's simpler, it's more engaging, it's clear language. Maybe we have a bunch of steps or visuals or examples and exercises inside our book to make it even more enticing. And then from there, we can then validate our angle. And after we have a document of brainstorming all these things, we can ask ourselves, would our book stand out next to the top 5 in our topic? And if it clearly will, we can then build our book outline around this, get our book written, and then the title almost creates itself from here, because now we have our topic. We're teaching that topic in a more effective way than everybody else. And the title is going to craft itself. So now we have our generic information. We've done our topic research to find out what our book actually needs to have inside, what our table of contents is going to look like, and then we can start creating our book. But from there, we can dive into the next phase, which is crafting our offer. So how can we actually turn this information into an offer that we can then turn into a book title? And so what we don't want to do is simply just explain what your book is or state the topic. A title like An Introduction to Gardening only tells people what it is, not why they should care. We also want to stay away from beginner guides. If there's already something like this in the topic, if we just create another generic beginner guide, no one's going to care. We have to figure out a way to angle it differently, and we're going to learn how to do that right now. And now this might seem like a lot of technical information, but I can promise you, if you absorb this, you create a proper book title, you will have better results because people will click and buy your book over others. And we can't just expect to publish a book to Amazon and get a bunch of results. We have to make sure we are the most desirable option, especially with high content books. On a side note, if you do want to find out about my complete Amazon KDP system and get handheld guides along the way throughout your publishing journey, then click the first link in the description below to learn more about that. So how can we define our offer? So there are 5 steps to doing this. Step 1 is defining the problem. What main problem is your reader struggling with? For example, it could be struggling with staying consistent with their workouts. Step 2 is to define the desired outcome. What result do they want? Maybe it's to build strength and lose weight at home. Step 3 is to define the mechanism. How are you going to deliver that outcome to the people reading the book? Maybe this is in 21 days or 5 minutes a day, or maybe it's a 5-part system. So you're presenting the information in a specific way that they understand and that looks desirable. It's not just 40 chapters of information. It's a 5-part system to mastering ChatGPT. It's balanced exercises for seniors in 21 days with 5 minutes a day. They can very clearly see what they're going to go through to get the result they're hoping for. So step 4 is outlining the structure. So we want to break the book into 3 to 5 big steps or sections that guide them through the problem to their outcome. This also can kind of be in the book creation process, the book research process. But basically, an exercise book, you want to teach them the basics. You want to give them the exercises. Maybe you want to have the 21-day challenge where they can go through after they have the exercises that they can refer to, and they just have a core understanding of the topic. And you can go into some further lifestyle tips. So we're very clearly walking them through a specific path. And knowing what this looks like will just help us craft our title even more. So step 5 is to translate this offer into a title. So we combine our problem plus our outcome plus our mechanism and our structure into a clear and enticing promise. And so getting into an example here, we have one on balanced exercises for seniors. So we'll get into my prompt and a bunch of book title examples in a second, but just for a reference, we have fall prevention balanced exercises for seniors, your 28-day plan with 100+ illustrations, simple exercises, and large print text for core strength, stability, and fall prevention in 15 minutes a day. So what we're doing is highlighting exactly who it's for and what it's doing. So there's no confusion. They know the book is for them, and we can deliver this in an enticing way if we can, depending on the topic, of course. Things vary. And then the subtitle is going to be selling to that customer. How are we delivering this promise? Why should they buy our book? And why is it going to be enticing and do what it needs to do? And so this does depend on your topic. If you go and look at best-selling fitness books, in many cases they have these longer subtitles that talk about how many minutes a day, the plan, how many illustrations there are, what type of exercises, is it large print, if it's for seniors. So have a look at the best-selling books and gauge the baseline that they're using and use that as your main structure because we don't want to be too far away from what the norm is because people won't really understand if our book is even for them or it might just not make sense or align with the topic. And so I know this seems like a lot of steps and a lot of information, but in order to craft a strong book title, we have to know what our book is about, how it's structured. We then have to know how we're delivering on that promise, how we're defining the problem, defining the outcome, who our customer is, what our mechanism is, because we need this information to then go and prompt AI or use for ourselves to create a strong title. If we're just creating a title from nothing, we have no idea what our book is, how it's delivering on its promise, and there's no way that we can create a good book title without this information. And so the structure of a strong book title is very simple. Our main title is meant to do one thing. It's going to draw them in. It's most likely going to be a bold statement paired with your main keyword. This allows for clarity and to create market demand, because if somebody searches up their desired topic, we have a very bold, strong statement, and it is referring to the main search term that they searched up. They're going to know the book is for them, and they're going to be enticed to click it because it's very bold. So we'll dive into that in a second. And so when it comes to the subtitle, it has to be a no-brainer option. We have to, of course, overview our topic and our book, make sure that they know exactly what the book is about and why it's going to help them solve their problem. And then we can incorporate our unique hook and our differentiator, our time frame, our mechanism, our style, our audience. And so they read the main title. It's bold. It's talking about the main keyword. It draws them in. The subtitle tells them exactly what they want to hear and exactly what the book is about, how it's delivering on this promise, and why it's going to be better than the competitors. There's no reason why they wouldn't click our book if we do this effectively. This all happens very fast as well. People are shopping on Amazon very quickly. We can't expect that they're going to sit there and contemplate all these different books slowly. They're moving very fast. They're reading these titles quickly. And so that's why we have to be very bold, simple, straightforward, tell them what they want to hear, make sure that we are standing out, and that's it. We don't want to have a bunch of keywords in our title. The keyword stuff title era is over. As long as you have your main keyword, and this is very, very important, as long as you have your main keyword in your title, that's fine. I have multiple, probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 high content books that have made well over 5 figures. Every single one of them got probably 90% of their sales from their main 2 search terms. Maybe even just the main keyword of their topic is where they rank high, get a majority of their sales. So I'm not trying to rank in a million different places. I'm trying to rank in the right place and target the person effectively, not just rank a bunch of places, because a book that is built to rank is not desirable. It's just focused on keywords. It's just sloppy. It makes no sense. We have to draw them in with the main search term, tell them what they want to hear with a bold statement, and then tell them how this book is going to solve their problem. And however many relevant keywords fit into that, that's fine, but don't try to get too many in your subtitle because it's going to be sloppy. So now let's dive into the actual book creation prompt. So lucky for you, if you didn't click off already, you made it this far, you can go and find this prompt in the description below. It's not going to be an opt-in or anything, just a simple Google Doc you can make a copy of. And you can use this to create your first few book titles. So as you can see, it's very thorough. I'm not going to read it in its entirety, but basically it's just talking about the things we already talked about, how to frame your book, and then there's going to be the slots where you fill in. I did make this more clear in the doc so you will know where to put your information. And luckily we did our previous research and our offer creation to get this information. But once you fill it out, you can simply put it into your AI, whichever one you use, and see what it comes back with. And then we can simply prompt it more and get some more ideas. All right, so we're on Grok to see some examples that I got back. Before we go into that, as you can see, I simply filled out the prompt with my information. So my topic, I chose ChatGPT for beginners. I put in my target audience, the time frame or the structure on how my book is. And of course, you will know this information for your book, the main outcomes that you want people to achieve, and a bit more information just to get it as specific as possible. I simply put this prompt into Grok, and here's what it came back with. So I will say, try out all the different AI models to get the best result. Claude's very good, Grok's very good. I've noticed that ChatGPT actually is getting worse in my opinion, or it's very inconsistent. And I've actually had better results with Grok or Claude. Definitely try out the other ones if you only use ChatGPT, as sometimes, even with this prompt specifically, ChatGPT struggled. Just before this video, it really just wasn't getting it. It was making the title examples all have the same, just ChatGPT for beginners as the main title. I have no idea why. And this was not doing a very good job. And so going over to Grok, it did it seamlessly. And I tried Claude as well, which was also good. So if they try multiple AIs to get the best result, but going into the examples it sent back, it came up with some variations. So the first one is ChatGPT for beginners, a 30-day step-by-step guide to master AI prompting for work, creativity, and everyday productivity with proven, easy-to-follow prompts. So now, of course, these titles aren't going to be perfect, but as you can see, the structure is there. It has the bold title, ChatGPT made simple, ChatGPT unlocked, and then it has a very clear promise and offer in the subtitle, your complete 30-day blueprint to boost productivity, simplify tasks, and spark creativity in work and life with beginner-friendly prompts. And what I'm going to do from here is just basically go through these examples, find the ones that I like, maybe make some tweaks, maybe combine a couple, but it definitely will give you a solid foundation for a strong book title that falls under all the parameters that we talked about. So what you can also do is prompt Grok further. So you can say, hey, I actually liked this title, but can you combine it with, let's say, title number 2, as I like the ending of that better, and just mix and match them. So the important thing is you will know your topic and your book better than I will. We have to have a bold, clear title that has the main search term in it. So ChatGPT for beginners in this case, or just ChatGPT. And then a strong subtitle that tells them how you're going to deliver the solution to their problem in a very clear way. So I actually like this one here, the 7-day challenge to master AI for smarter work, faster learning, and creative personal projects, no tech skills needed. Now, this is where, as you can see, it's important to understand the structure of your book, because once you start creating titles, you're going to naturally find all these different ideas. And then you're going to think, oh, I should have made my book a 7-day challenge. And so you're going to have to go back and completely redo your book. But in this case, I'm not going to do that because I already did my proper topic research. I know my book is structured well, and the prompt and titles will align with our structure because we would have put it in there. This is just a rough example. But now you can see the importance of the offer and the structure of your book. Because if we did not do that, we just created a book. It's a beginner's guide to ChatGPT. It's just a simple 8-chapter book that goes through it. When you go to the book title creation process, you're going to struggle because you don't have any of these desirable features that you would have otherwise found if you did proper topic research. So make sure you are doing that phase and creating a strong book. And then all these ideas are going to make so much more sense, and crafting a title will be very easy. And so here's one title that I ended up with based on this prompt. And of course, my keyword in this case is ChatGPT for beginners. And I came back with the ChatGPT Masterclass, your 30-day guide to master ChatGPT and AI prompting for smarter work, faster learning, and everyday productivity for beginners. So as you can see, it's enticing, the ChatGPT Masterclass. People who are looking to learn about ChatGPT will know what this is about without doing the generic ChatGPT for beginners. It's way more enticing, especially if it's alongside those type of books. And it very clearly communicates how it's going to deliver this. Your 30-day guide, so it's a 30-day guide. They know that they have an end result to master ChatGPT and AI prompting, etc., etc. And so this, in my opinion, is one of the best case scenarios. It draws them in. It tells them what they want to hear. They can picture themselves at an end result. They know that they're going to master ChatGPT and learn what they want to learn in 30 days. And specifically, they're going to learn all these things: AI prompting, how to learn faster, productivity. And if you pair this with, of course, a strong cover and a ton of reviews, there's no reason why they wouldn't click on your book and buy it as long as the demand is there. All right, so now let's quickly dive into a few examples, because depending on the niche that you're in, your title structure will be slightly different. So for a basic business book like ChatGPT for beginners, it's going to be a lot simpler. You're going to have maybe a time frame, maybe how the structure is laid out, parts, 30-day guide. And it's going to talk about exactly what the person wants to learn, your guide to master ChatGPT, AI prompting, for smarter work, faster learning, etc., etc. But diving into something like an exercise book, based on the competitors, you're going to notice that there is going to be a lot more features you want to include. Maybe it has a 28-day challenge or plan. Maybe it has tons of illustrations, simple exercises. Video tutorials is a big one that people might want to have included. 15 minutes a day, so they know that they're only going to be doing it for a little bit of time. They don't have to spend a bunch of time to get the results. So make sure you do study your topic itself and just include things into your title that are very important. And of course, this will be done in the research phase. So cookbooks as well have a few different things that we want to consider. Are they budget-friendly recipes? How many days of recipes do you give them? Do you give them a whole year's worth of consistent meal plans? And of course, the purpose of the book itself, to regulate blood sugar, to boost energy, and to enjoy your mealtime again. And so this does all go back to the core idea of understanding our audience, understanding what they want, and making sure we deliver on that promise in the easiest and the fastest way. So our book is the no-brainer option to pick. Going into a self-help book, maybe we have a CBT workbook. This is also going to be different. So this is a best-selling book in the topic. It's a lot simpler. Retrain your brain, cognitive behavioral therapy in 7 weeks. A workbook for managing depression and anxiety. So as you can see, this is a bit of a double main title. So this is something that I do strategically as well, is I'll have a clever title like Retrain Your Brain. And then in the same main title box, I'll also put the topic itself. So cognitive behavioral therapy in 7 weeks. And then you do the subtitle. This way you can have a more clever title while still having your main keyword in the main title and people know what the book is about. And then you go into the subtitle. And of course, this does work when you have a shorter title. If you have a very long fitness book, it might not really apply. But then again, when it comes to fitness books, you do want to be specific with having what your book is about in the title. When it comes to things like business, etc., we can be a bit more clever and people will still know what the topic is. But fitness books, definitely you have to focus on the core topic itself and just make sure it is enticing, but we don't want to have a totally different title that has a totally different angle. So a quick overview of my book creation process is we want to, of course, research the competitors, look at the best-selling titles in your niche and note their keywords, structure, promises, what are they offering, as well as read the reviews, see what people liked and what they didn't like. Define your elements, make sure you clarify your topic, your audience, your main outcome, and what makes your book different, what is your unique mechanism. From there, once we know what our book should have inside, the structure, what other books are doing, we have all our attributes that are very important, we can then build out our offer. So we can start with our keyword, add a time frame or system, highlight the 2 to 3 main benefits of the book, and include a unique hook or unique mechanism. How are you solving their problem better, faster, easier? Of course, this varies per niche. You can drop some variations, use the prompt I linked below, create 5 to 10 options, and then you can prompt further based on what you like and what is enticing. And of course, you will know which ones look the best based on your topic and based on your book. You'll know what it needs to have and how you can relay that information correctly, as well as how it compares to the competitors. And then most importantly, we have to validate this. We have to ask ourselves, does it clearly tell me what the book is about, why it's valuable, and how it stands out, and will it stand out with your main competitors? So like I mentioned, grab the prompt below. I will say a book title is a very important piece of your high content book. It's one of the most important. You can nail everything else, but if your book title falls short, people simply aren't going to be interested. So if you do want to learn my complete high content publishing system, as well as get handheld guidance with tools and extra resources alongside your journey, you can learn more about that in the first link in the description. That's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe for more no-nonsense Amazon KP advice. See you in the next one.